Hi, and welcome back to yet another episode of Blonde
Brunette and Confused.
I'm Bella, the blonde one.
I'm Lauren, the brunette one.
And I'm Hannah, the confused one.
Today we're discussing something that we admittedly don't have much expertise in, and that is the college social scene, specifically parties. But before we start, we want to have a few disclaimers. First off, we're not endorsing underage drinking or alcohol use. However, it is something that occurs on college campuses, and we want to give you the honest truth.
Also, going to parties is never something you have to do for a fulfilling college experience. You never need to go, but you totally can if you want to. The key is that you should never feel obligated.
Because we don't have much experience, we're excited to introduce you to our first ever guest who can provide more insight, Jordan. Jordan, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Jordan McKee. I am from Miami, Florida, and I am a freshman undergraduate student here at Hofstra University. I am a business management major and a member of the New York Chi chapter of Sigma Alpha Epsilon.
Awesome. So we have a plethora of questions for you, but to start off, we wanted to know what kind of parties do the school offer?
Well, every school is different, but I would say the most common party, at least speaking as a member of Greek life, I would say a mixer, because typically we have one every week with a sorority. After that, probably darties, day jams, day drinks, whatever floats your boat, depending on what part of the country you're from. There's a different name for it. But those are usually pretty fun. Those are either open or they're strictly Greek life. It depends, but those are usually pretty fun as well. And then also, almost around every college campus, you're going to find bars and clubs that students usually go to also.
So as an incoming freshman, people are obviously new to the scene. They don't know what parties are happening. How do you learn about them? What's going on? Where they're happening?
I would say the word about parties usually just gets spread. I mean, for me as a freshman, this was me just last semester, and usually it was just through word of mouth. And of course, you're never going to know how things are if you don't go check them out yourself. So
Do you ever have to pay for parties?
yes, occasionally though. Usually for open parties, there would be a fee, for guys at least, but it's typically not that bad. It's usually about $5. So
One question that we have that's, I would say, is the most important question is, how do you drink responsibly? Because, I know freshmen don't often know their limits, but how do they find their way through parties to drink responsibly?
certainly, I would say drinking responsibly is probably the most important part of, attending a party, just because people go absolutely wild, don't necessarily know their limits, and because of that, there are negative repercussions. Just make sure you're always hydrated, and if you feel like you've had enough, then you definitely have, and you should just take a break.
What are some other common party mistakes and how should people avoid them?
A pretty common mistake is just leaving your drink around. A lot of people do that. Definitely by the end of the night, if you look around, there are several cups everywhere. Things can kind of get confusing. People don't remember where they left their cups. People start drinking from someone else's cup. One freshman mistake is not knowing how to properly tap a keg or use a keg. Yeah, that was bad. That was kind of me. A lot of freshmen do have the tendency to walk around with backpacks at parties. That is weird. I don't know why they do that. I never did. But, when it comes to partying, it's important to obviously mind your manners, your P's and Q's. As a member of Greek life, obviously, when you're out, you're not only representing yourself, but your organization. So, you never want to do anything that could jeopardize your reputation.
Another thing, always go out with people that you feel comfortable with and that you know are going to take care of you, too.
Oh, definitely. If you're going out alone, don't. That's not a good idea at all. Unless you're going somewhere where you know your friends will be, then I guess it's okay. But it's a pretty good idea to go out with your friends just in case anything happens. You have someone there with you.
Do you have any advice to avoid laced alcohol?
It does happen. It's bad, really bad, and it can have negative repercussions. However, the number one way to avoid it is to just remain conscious about, where you set down your drink. Typically people do say, if you set down your drink, it's safer to just go get another one.
What type of party rules do you know of that you kind of keep in mind when you go to parties?
For party rules, like I said earlier, you're not only representing yourself, but if you're in Greek life, your organization, So just remaining conscious of that, making sure that, you know, you're not doing anything that's too crazy or that's going to jeopardize you or anyone around you in any way. I would also say be a nice person. People usually go out to have a good time, leave their stress behind them, whatever they have going on. People just want to have a good time, and the last thing people want is to deal with someone who's just crazy.
Some mixers have themes, and a lot of people don't really know coming into college what they should wear. Do people actually follow the themes? Do you have any advice on dress codes?
Yes, dress codes are a pretty big thing. I mean, I went to parties back in high school and there were themes, and I never took them very seriously, but people do take them seriously for some reason. Yeah, I've been in plenty of situations where I have no idea what to wear. I have nothing that fits the theme, but you try to do what works. It's best to make a crappy effort than to not, you know, partake at all and be that guy. That's not just in
Don't be that guy.
But as far as dress code, usually you'll be good just wearing a casual outfit. Obviously, you know, you go to certain events, certain parties, I guess formals, which you would want to dress more appropriately, but yeah.
So Jordan, if someone shows interest in you but you don't reciprocate, how do you curve them?
That's an interesting question. I would say just be respectful about it. You know, you don't necessarily have to go out of your way and, you know, let them know that you're not feeling them, I guess. But just if you can, I know a lot of girls do this. They grab a friend. A lot of guys at parties will start dancing with a girl, and, you know, some girls will be a little creeped out about it and immediately grab a friend. That's usually a way of letting a guy know, you know, like, hey, back off.
Another big thing that I think a lot of people worry about when they go to parties is if they're going to stay safe. So how would you take care of your friends at a party?
I've been in plenty of situations where my friends have exceeded their boundaries, their limits, and have gone ill at parties. And now you have to be a good friend and, you know, take care of your friend. So the number one thing is to just remain level-headed, and regardless of what happens, try to remain calm. Sometimes situations do get quite intense, to which some people could end up in the hospital, but do everything in your power to make sure that everything from that point on runs smoothly. As I said earlier, just making sure someone is hydrated is crucial. If someone is throwing up, let them finish before you start handing them water, because I've seen people, their bodies just completely reject anything that goes in, including water. Also, another thing when it comes to taking care of a friend at a party, if you're going to put them to bed, it's best to make sure that they're laying on their side, just to avoid them potentially puking again and choking.
I know for mixers, for me, because I'm in a sorority, we have something called Sober Sisters too, which is really great to like take care of people. So we have usually 3 per mixer, and it's someone who has to be completely sober from any alcohol, any drugs, and you're still there and you're having fun, but you have to be mindful of everyone around you, make sure everybody's safe. All 3 of the girls are responsible for making sure everybody gets home safe. So there's 2 driving ones and 1 walking one. I was just a sober sister at the last formal that we had. I still had a lot of fun. It was still really great, and I made sure that people got home safe and things like that. So it's really great to have that type of thing implicated into mixers also, to make sure everybody's safe.
And if you're not a part of Greek life and you don't have that structure, talk with your friends and find a sober sister or find that mom character in your friend group that you know you can go to and you know that's going to have your back. Transitioning from the really serious stuff, do you have any fun party stories that you want to share with us?
Unfortunately, I don't, because I can't really remember any right now.
I know for me, being at mixers, that there is a couple crazy things that happen. I won't out anybody, but there's definitely some property that has been taken and brought into some of like the houses, including fish, which is very interesting to see. There's that. There's also, if you go to a frat house, usually the bathrooms are disgusting. Don't use them unless you absolutely have to. Try to avoid it and wait till you get back to your room, because it'll be really gross. Speaking of gross, Also, when you go to mixers, please wear gross shoes. I have shoes that are like old Converse that are called my mixer shoes because literally if you get alcohol spilled on them or because the bathrooms are gross, like dirt or something on them, don't wear nice shoes to mixers because it will be really hard to like get them clean and everything. So just set aside an old pair of shoes to wear.
The last mixer that I went into the bathroom and there was a carpet in the shower, an empty wine bottle on top of the carpet, and there was no toilet paper. There was only a very small roll of paper towels. It was terrifying. You just see the randomest, most disgusting things.
Another note about the bathrooms is at a mixer I attended, I was one of those people who was like, I can't wait, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom and there's just two dudes standing outside of it smoking weed, and I was like, never mind, I no longer have to pee. So just kind of think through situations, and if something feels uncomfortable, even if you don't know anyone's gonna do anything, just like think about it.
Also, I remember the very first mixer we went to, there was a door without the doorknob. Do you remember this? And someone had shoved an empty plastic water bottle into the doorknob hole to use as the handle.
I was shook.
Rats are their just
Their own genre of people.
of houses.
Yes.
So have fun with that stuff too.
Have fun with that
Observe. Yeah, at the end of the day, as Hannah said, if you ever notice anything that makes you uncomfortable and doesn't make you laugh, that's when you should consider getting out of the
Like
situation.
carpet and shower, that's kind of funny. Dudes waiting by the bathroom, not that funny.
Yeah.
So there's like a range.
Facts.
So do you have any final advice for us, for anyone who's listening?
At least make sure you have 30% battery on your phone. I've gone out countless times and either my phone dies or I'll have a friend whose phone dies and it sucks. I mean, typically if you're out and you called an Uber, now you're out of luck because you can no longer catch a ride or you have to rely on someone else to do it for you. Another thing, try to go out with your friends. It's always a fun time. Obviously, you feel more comfortable with those that are close to you. Obviously, if you're going to be drinking, it's not a good idea to drive. Everyone knows that. Just have fun. Have a good time. Everyone goes out to put their struggles behind them.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Jordan. And for all of our listeners, to stay up to date on new episodes and a look behind the scenes, follow us at BBNC Pod on all social medias, including Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, even Pinterest. It's also a great place to contact us, let us know what you think, and give us topics you want to discuss. Finally, share our podcast with anyone you think may be interested. Thanks so much for listening. You're all shining stars.
Facts.